brain will hold that information much better. So you've got these three things. Now you're going to be learning about those things. And so, see my psychiatrist over here? Go ahead and take a little quick picture of her. Hold your hand up so they know who you are. A patient comes in and exhibiting some kind of thinking that's not right or normal, as we're talking about abnormal behavior, or they're talking about behavior, or they're talking about social interaction, something not right about it all. And she has to make a decision about, is this a psychological disorder? Or is this just some behavior that's happening? What makes it a psychological disorder? Someone's doing something that's not like what other people are doing. Is it a psychological? Because she's got to not only make a decision. See, some things are very clear. When we start reading about eating disorders and anxiety disorders and mood disorders, some things are very clear. I mean, this is a psychological disorder, but a lot of things she's going to deal with coming in, it may or it may not be. It may be just an irritant to somebody else, but so what? It's not a psychological disorder. If she makes the wrong diagnosis, this person may go on medication or behavior therapy or all kinds of stuff that they don't need. Or if she misdiagnoses it, they may not get the help that they need, and they need right now. So it is important that she be able to think like this. Now let me tell you, in the first chapter of the psychology textbook, it said that psychology is about the brain or the mind and how it affects behavior. It's about something going on here, because behavior comes from here. You don't have a behavior and then you do the thinking. Something happened here and you're out here. So within her thinking, she's got to look, something's happening in the brain that's affecting behavior. And she has to then have this automatically. Is it the thinking that's screwed up? Is it the behavior that's screwed up? Is it the social interaction? Where are we seeing these signs? Quite often it's all of them together, but they can be one or the other. But she needs to be able to think with that, with whatever came in. How you doing? I've got a great photographer here. Maybe he'll take you this on picture in a second. Okay. I want to stop right now and get in my mind that abnormal behavior and psychological disorders are mental illnesses. And they can affect three things in particular: social interaction, behavior, and thinking. Because as I learn about these other disorders, I need to be able to think, how do they fit here? How do they relate to this? Because if you start getting a sense of this, everything you learn will relate to that, or this. Now there's more to building this conceptual framework here. As we're still reading on this page, go ahead and let's read the next part. 3 criteria help distinguish normal from abnormal behavior. My brain's already clicking and doing a thinking about thinking. There's 3 criteria. So I already know in my mind that I'm going to be thinking about 3 criteria. C-R-I-T-E-R-I-A. And that's what I want to be learning about. And it's preparing this neural network for what I'm about to read. Because I can guarantee you, you can read the rest of this page, which you can read every word of, and 10 minutes later you cannot tell me what the 3 criteria are, other than maybe to tell me a label or 2, but you can't explain it. I assure you. I mean, I've done this enough in classes and various texts and what have you. You want to be able, when you get through with this page, to have a neural network built here of the criteria, so that when you learn about the various disorders, does it fit this criteria? And where does it fit in this criteria? And does it have anything to do with these things? Because you always think back to what you were doing before. Once you get this conceptual framework up front, you will actually read faster, comprehend more, remember more, and be able to use it more if you continue to think like this as you go along. But if you get this down this down so that it's automatic in your head and not just something that, I learned about 3 criteria, what were they? I mean, that's just part of my thinking. Just like I know what I ate for breakfast this morning. Because I've got a good neural network back here. So let's do this again. 3 criteria have distinguished normal from abnormal behavior. Abnormal behavior is deviant. Well, what do I know about deviance and deviant? Most of the things I know about deviant always seem like it was bad things. You know, somebody was deviant, they were bad things. But listen very carefully. Terminology in areas of inquiry, like psychology, the terminology is specific, and it's not necessarily what the common language is. And we will find that it's not what the common language is. It borders on the common language, but the definition's not what you think. Okay, so deviant behavior. Somebody spits on the sidewalk, I'll say, well, that's kind of deviant behavior. Do they have a psychological disorder? That's what my psychiatrist is going to decide when the police send this guy that spit on the sidewalk. Of course, they won't do ever spitting on the sidewalk, but you get the idea. But what am I doing right now when I'm talking to you and saying these things? I am stepping back and reflecting and thinking about my thinking, and what do I already know? Did I understand it? Well, it hadn't defined it yet. It's just told me that's what's going to happen. But I'm preparing my brain, building that myelin sheath, getting ready for this to be able to be learned easier. It's not only deviant, it's maladaptive. Mal meaning not, so it's not adaptive. I guess it's about people adapting to situations or what have you. It doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. I am reflecting using a cognitive strategy. What do I already know and do I understand it? I don't know whether I understand it or not. Hadn't done anything with it yet. And then personally distressful. I understand that. Everybody understands personally distressful. Personally distressful over a relatively long period of time. Well, see, here's what she's going to do. Somebody comes in and they've got some anxiety. She's got to decide whether they have a psychological disorder or not. I come in and I've got anxiety. She's going to be asking me questions. Well, are you usually anxious like this? Well, no, I just got anxious after, my cat got run over. Now, she's got to make a decision about whether that's a psychological disorder or not around these criteria right here, which we don't know about yet. I'm just giving you a sense of what, if you want to learn so that you don't graduate here, but graduate here, remembering 85% instead of forgetting 85% what the research shows, that's what you want to do. So at this point, let's take a closer look at these characteristics. But does everyone understand that I can't just jump in and start reading if I want to move to here, if I want to build this myelin sheath, if I want to strengthen the dendrite of learning so I have it later? Now,